Well, hello and welcome to step one of our four-step process of possibly becoming a leader here for Cross Assembly Groups. My name is Pastor Vic, and I'm the discipleship pastor here. And over the next few minutes, I simply want to give you an opportunity to understand who we are as a ministry, how we operate, what our logistics are, our requirements are, so that you can kind of get a glimpse of our DNA as a ministry within our church. I think oftentimes whenever you see large corporations or larger churches, sometimes each individual ministry can kind of operate in their own DNA and have their own mission and their own vision. But you need to understand that here at Cross Assembly, our mission is exactly the same throughout every single one of our ministries. You see, we believe the mission here is to build up and send out spirit-filled agents of local and global transformation. And so our job is to not only come alongside that mission, but have a vision, have an understanding of how we operate within that mission statement. At the end of the day, we're called to build up and send out. So what's the vision for groups within that mission statement? It's this: that every disciple would make a disciple of Jesus Christ. It's an opportunity for our groups to help get down into the weeds of things and help people begin to understand that they're not just called to attend. No, they're called to make disciples. That is our mission and that is our vision. So you say, Vic, listen, that's a lofty goal, right? That's something that you see way out in the distance, but how do you tangibly achieve that? What are the nuts and bolts, and how do you operate as a ministry? Well, listen, I'm glad you asked. Our strategy here in groups is actually twofold. You see, the way we help those that are a part of our groups grow is by using what we call our one-step approach. You know, our job is not to kind of create a platform for you to teach and show off your gift, but our job is to disciple people and help people by the end of the semester make a tangible step, a one step that helps get them a little bit closer to their walk with Christ. The way we do that is by keeping three questions in front of us throughout the semester. What is God speaking to you? What's your next step? And how can we as leaders help you get there? By the end of the semester, our job is to have practical and tangible steps that people have taken that have shown that their walk has grown closer with God. It could be something as little as, they gave their life to Christ, and their next step, they've never been baptized. Well, our job is not just to fill them with theology, but help them take that next step to actually being baptized. Maybe the next step is they've been walking with the Lord for 875 years, but they've never forgiven a loved one that is close to them. Well, their next practical step is to begin to reach out and forgive the one that has hurt them or has given them an offense that they've carried. We want to make sure that we're not just achieving spiritual, grandiose accomplishments, but practical ones that help our walk grow with Christ every single day. What is God speaking to you? What's your next step? And how can we as leaders help you get there? That's how we grow our members of each and every one of our groups. But how do we grow our leadership? You see, when it comes to leadership, it is our job to have eyes to see and make sure that we're building up people, remember, so that we can send them out, letting them know they can do the same thing that we do. And in order to do that, we use this phrase a lot. It's, who is your one? It's making sure that our leaders understand that they're not just responsible for their group, but they are responsible for looking for one person or one couple or a group of people within their group that can also be brought up so that they could be sent out and do the same thing. We call those people here apprentices. And your job as a leader is to make sure that you are finding a Joshua to a Moses, a Timothy to a Paul. We're growing our leadership while we grow our members at the same time. So you say, Vic, we love your mission, we love your vision, we love the fact that you have a strategy, but we want to know what your overall goal is. What is your heart for our church in regards to groups? And that is this: for every group to be multiplied. That's our goal. Understand that in order to accomplish that mission statement, be built up and send out, then we have to begin to understand that we build with the end in mind. We don't build to try to gather as many people as we can into our group so that we could show off our gift sets. No. We're building with a purpose, and that is for our group to grow enough organically that we can now send out others to do the same thing. Can you just dream with me for a moment? Can you think about an entire city filled with groups that are on a mission, that have a purpose for the reason they're meeting together? Can you think about an entire community being affected by cross-assembly groups because we're fulfilling the mission statement of our church? Our goal is for every group to be multiplied. So let's talk a little bit about the logistics of being a group's leader. You see, 3 things take place throughout the semester whenever groups are meeting. We gather, we grow, and we serve. We gather is so much more than just us hanging out with one another. It's actually you as a leader, as a shepherd, making sure that your members are taken care of, like in the book of Acts. If there's a need that needs to be fulfilled, then groups spring into action to be that first person at the door waiting to fill that need. If there's a prayer request that needs to be met and there needs to be prayer for your groups, you as a group's leader and your people as a group are the ones that are lifting up your members in intercession and in prayer. You guys are gathering with one another. It's our inward focused portion of groups. We gather. We get this question a lot. Well, Vic, I understand that you gather, but where in the world do you gather? And that's an awesome question. The reality is a lot of our groups meet in homes, but you can meet wherever you like. Let your imagination run wild. You can meet at your job. You can meet at a coffee shop. There's some groups that meet together on a Saturday morning and they love to run. And so they do a devotional and then they go take off running. They're doing life with one another. So groups can actually meet wherever you desire. We do ask, though, that if you're going to lead a group, that you meet at least 70% of the overall semester. We just found that whenever you are discipling and not just meeting, that consistency is key. And so most semesters last 12 to 14 weeks. And by all means, you can meet 12 weeks, you can meet 14 weeks. We actually recommend that in order to solidify discipleship and growth. The overall minimum is 70% of the semester. So we gather together. The next thing that we do is we grow with one another. That's our upward focused portion of our groups. We want to make sure that we're not just hanging out, but our faith is being challenged as we study the word, as we grow in our prayer life, as we grow in fasting. We want to make sure that we are growing. We get this question asked a lot as well. Well, Vic, what in the world do I teach? The reality is that's totally up to you, as long as you're letting us know what you are teaching. We want to make sure that across the board, cross assemblies, theology and stances are being protected in a culture that is constantly fighting its way inside of our door. So just simply let us know. But I'll give you a pro tip. The easiest thing to do is to take notes on a Sunday morning and let those notes facilitate your discussion in your group. We want to challenge each other. We want to grow with one another because the Bible tells us that iron sharpens iron. We also grow by making sure that it is a requirement for every single group to provide us with an apprentice that they are building up mid-semester. So letting us know who your one is so that we know that you are intentionally focusing on building someone else up so we can send them out. So we gather, we grow. And the last thing we do together is we serve. And I love this portion of groups. We have an inward focus, we have an upward focus, and this is our outward focus. This is an opportunity for you to get your eyes off of yourself and begin to look at how you can bless those around you or your community. And so one of the requirements is that at the end of the semester, we ask that every single group has a service project. Now listen, before you think it's some huge crazy thing and you start saying, oh, I don't have time for this, please understand this. A service project can be as grandiose as you want it, or it can be as simplistic as you want it. We've had groups that have, noticed a widow in the neighborhood and maybe the lawn needs manicured. And so they go over as a group and they bless that particular person in the neighborhood. What an awesome way to reach the community. But we also have groups that say, you know what, we're going to put together some packages for the homeless and deliver them. Or, maybe they just want to go to the park and hand out water and invite them to church. We just simply ask that you set aside time where you go and serve the community as a group. Well, listen, God bless you. Thank you so much for taking the time to really understand who we are as a ministry within our church. I know the steps of the righteous are ordered, and God is ordering your steps to possibly becoming part of the group's family. God bless.